So to the member. To the members, any disclosure of pecuniary interest on the agenda as presented to you? Hearing none, we'll have that in the minutes. Introduction and purpose of our meeting this evening is to hear comments from an affected landowners on the proposed drainage works as set out in the drainage report filed by Gerard Root, a professional engineer of Root Engineering, Inc. And that was dated March 1st, 2022 for the repair and improvement of the Sullivan Creek drain. And so I'll call upon our drainage superintendent, Alicia Muzio, to provide us an update.
Thank you, Your Worship. On March 16th of 2015, we received a request for the repair and improvement of the Sullivan Creek drain. Then Gerard Root was appointed as the drainage engineer, and a PIC was held virtually on August 9th of 2021. Since I was not present at that time, I'm not aware of any concerns that were brought to the table. However, I'm sure Gerard can elaborate on those if there were any. On March 1st of 2022, Gerard submitted the drainage report, which we are considering today. The report includes recommendations for bridge and culvert repairs and replacements, specifications for future bridge and culvert replacements, flushing of existing bridges and culverts, removal of silt and debris, and the installation of buffer strips. It also includes the cost estimate and schedule assessment. We had some discussions internally as well as with OMAFRA this afternoon, and it has come to our attention that we did not consider excess soil requirements. And after speaking with OMAFRA, they think that it's in our best interest to refer the report back to the engineer to consider the excess soils requirements, since the drain is so large and there will be a significant amount of soil being removed from the drain. So we recommend that the drainage report for the Sullivan Creek drain, as prepared by Gerard Root, PNG of Root Engineering, dated March 1st, 2022, be received, and that the drainage report for the Sullivan Creek drain, as prepared by Gerard Root of Root Engineering, dated March 1st, 2022, be referred back to the drainage engineer to consider excess soils requirements in accordance with recent information received from provincial ministries. If Gerard wants to add anything, then he can. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alicia. Mr. Root, any additions? I think it's pretty straightforward.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it is now finally fairly straightforward. We had already basically gotten approvals back early last year, but then as the report got sent out to ERC and DFO, we ended up getting more feedback, and late last year and through February this year, we ended up negotiating and establishing mitigation requirements that would satisfy DFO so that the project could proceed. And we made those all adjustments and amendments, and they provided clearance to the town in order to go ahead with the project. We also did a quick follow-up last week with DFO regarding working side of the drain, and they approved us for proceeding as set out in the report and had no other questions or concerns with the report. And it was just this issue with excess soils legislation that comes into place at the beginning of next year that could be a possible concern and consideration to take account of now, and that's where town staff have touched base with OMAFRA. And I got an email instructing me that I will likely have to do some reconsideration of the report so that if work is delayed through into next year, it will have the information and requirements that have to be met for that new legislation that will be coming into place as far as everything dealing with excess soils through Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Okay, then on the reconsideration, but just a question to you, both, or Alicia or Gerard. I mean, obviously the excess soils, when those are the soils removed from the ditch themselves, and then usually they always spread that right onto the farm and so forth. So is it going to require more like testing of those soils? And then, and to your opinion, in that case, it almost sounds to me that that's going to add additional costs to the landowners, and in particular if it deems that they must remove that from site, and if they remove it from the site, usually it has to go to a special landfill, and so forth. So I see some heads bobbing, so I must be correct that there would be some additional costs that'd be borne by the benefactors of obviously from the drain.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. As far as we know, that cost will be part of the project cost that the owners would have to bear. If any soils require the testing and special disposal, like you mentioned, so that those will be incorporated into the report, just to ensure that there won't be key problems or issues with moving ahead with construction once we are able to proceed with that. This will be the first project that we have dealt with through our office for handling the excess soil situation. So it'll be a little bit of a learning curve there, but we will work with the MAFRA and town staff to ensure that we have everything in there that will minimize risks of any problems with moving ahead with the report and the construction of the works at the end of the day.
All right, thank you. Alicia read out her report and that, so to defer, so back to the engineer. So if I could have that motion. Councillor Altenhoff moves and Deputy Mayor Becchetti supports. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That is carried. So that concludes any further. Would you like to? Councillor Jobin?
Yes, my apologies. I was so ingrained in the last meeting that I forgot to declare on this drain. So we do have property. So I'm not going to engage on that vote there.
Okay, thank you. So on the motion, all in favor? Opposed, if any? That is carried. Thank you. And no further business, then adjournment's in order. Councillor Altenhoff, Councillor Tonio, all in favor? Opposed, if any? That is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rude. Thank you, Alicia. And